I'm Sarah, a tutor at Accountancy Learning, and in this video I'll take you through the AAT Level 3 Management Accounting Techniques Sample Paper 2 Task 5. Now this task is going to be the first Excel task you come across in your exam, and it's all about preparation of budgets. So we're told that LB Sinks Limited is a manufacturer of sinks. The owners of the business have asked you to create a cash budget for December, January and February. You have been provided with a list of invoices for October, November and December, along with a price list. The amounts for each invoice need to be completed for unit price, net sales and total sales. So that's these ones here. Complete the following in the invoices worksheet, which is the tab that we've got open. Use data sort to sort the invoices into invoice number order, starting with the lowest. So we are going to do invoice number, so we're going to highlight our invoice number and we do sort and filter and then A to Z. So that is now sorted into the correct order. The unit selling price of each type of sink is included in the price list worksheet. In column G, from cells G2 to G190, use the VLOOKUP function to identify the unit price that was included on each invoice by using the information from the price list sheet. So we're going to be doing a VLOOKUP in here, and we're going to be using the information that's in here. So here you can see the prices. So it looks like we can look it up by item number. So when we do our lookup, we're going to look up the item number and we're going to look it up in this range and we're going to bring back this price. So let's put this in. So we're going to do a VLOOKUP and we're going to look up the item number in each line. So we want to look up column C. So C2 for the first line. We're going to look it up in the price list worksheet. And that's our table. Now remember, you need to absolute reference this, so when you copy the formula down you will then be able to, so this doesn't then move, so you'll then be able to get the right prices for the rest of it. We need to then say which column are we bringing back. So we're going to be bringing back column 1, 2, 3, 4. And we need it to be an exact match, so we need false in there as well. And that brings back the unit price. So we can now copy that formula down to cell G190 and it's put in all of our unit prices. In column H, from cell H2 to H190, use a suitable formula to calculate the net sales value for each invoice. So we now know what the unit price is. So now what's our net sales? So our net sales is going to be our unit price, and we're going to multiply that by the amount that's been sold. And then again, we can copy that down to the bottom. Then in column I, so I2 to I90, calculate the gross sales value for each invoice by adding VAT at 20%. So we've got our net sales, and we now need to add VAT for our total sales. So we're going to take our net sales and multiply it by 1.2. And again, we can copy that down as well. Then we've got in cells H192 and I192, use a suitable formula to calculate the totals for net sales and total sales. So we need to be in these two boxes here. So our total is just going to be a sum of all of these. And then we can copy it over into total sales as well. Then the final part of this particular section, in cell K3, create a pivot table to show the split of total sales by month. So K3, so we're going to want to start it in here. And we're going to want to insert, pivot table, and then we're going to select all of our data. And now we get the fields to choose from. So let's check. We want the split of total sales by month. So we want total sales is going to be our value, and our rows is going to be month. And there you can see it's now summarized that for us. So that's the first part of this task done. The next part continues in the cash budget tab. The figures for total payments for December, January and February have already been calculated and input into the cash budget. Complete the following in the cash budget worksheet. We've got to link the figures from the pivot table in the invoices worksheet for total sales for October, November and December into cells C7, D7 and E7. So we're going to be completing these three columns, these three cells here. So we need to do a link to the pivot table. So October, you can take October's figure, and we're going to repeat the process for November and December. So now we've got our links in there. January's total sales are expected to be 10% higher than the ones for December. So we now need to put in January's sales. So we're going to take December's figure and we're going to multiply it by 1.1 to add on 10% for December, from December to January. And now we're given a chart as to the amounts that are going to be received and when they are expected. So we need to calculate and enter the figures for sales receipts into C15, D16, D17, E17 and E18. So we're going to be working in this little section here. So this is where it starts getting tricky, because we need to be looking at the right months and the right percentages in terms of what's going to be paid when and when the balances are due. So we need to take it quite carefully. So looking at October, so the sales that made in October, so we're going to be looking at October sales, the balance of them is going to be received in December. So be careful here, because you've got months up the top here, which is only related to this section. And then you've got months here, which is related to this cash budget. You've also got months down here, which is talking about the months in which the sales were made. So for this one, for October, where the balance is going to come in December, we're going to say income from sales in October, the balance comes in December, so we're in this cell here. So the balance of October is going to be the total sales less what's already been received. And then we can move on to November. So again, we're going to be doing a balance. So November sales is going to be received in January. So we're going to be working in this box here. And we're going to take the total sales minus what's been received. So then for December, we've now got, for those items that were sold in December, 60% of them will be received in January and 40% received in February. So now we're working in this line. So income from December, 60% is going to be received in January. So we're going to be in this box here first of all. And it's going to be 60% of the December sales. So we're going to take our December sales and multiply it by 60%. And the other 40% comes in February. So sales in December, month of February for the receipt, which will be in this box. So we're going to do 40% now of December. And then lastly, we've got the sales receipts in January. So the amount that was made in January, so income from sales in January, and 60% of those are going to be received in February. So we've got January, match it up to February. In this box is the January sales figure multiplied by 60%. Now you've completed your cash budget, so you've done all of part 3 here. And then finally it says use conditional formatting to highlight any negative figures. So we'll highlight the figures in the cash budget, do conditional formatting, highlight sales rules less than, change that to 0 and OK, and that now shows all the items in red that are negative. So when you're doing these types of Excel questions, make sure that you break each step down and that you finish reading each part of the question to make sure you pick up all the marks. That completes task 5.